February 20th, 2023, at 10 p.m. exactly, that was when I experienced my first ever heartbreak. It all started when my uncle, or whom I may call Bread Baker, due to his great obsession with bread and the fact that he used to give me a big loaf of bread every single Thursday, he got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. When my mom unveiled the news, in fact, I did not believe her at all. Me and Bread Baker had so much more than just bread. We had connections. Me and him were friends. We were one. In fact, when I went to him at the hospital, for which I didn't know would be the first and last time ever, I looked into him and I asked him shakily, "Uncle, why is everyone saying that you're dying?" And he smiled at me with a dull, tired smile as he looked into my eyes and whispered into my ears, "Rama, I'm sorry. I cannot fulfill my promises anymore." As his hand slipped away from my cheek, it was life and cold. It was so lifeless that it felt like someone who was dead was putting their hand on my cheek and it slipped away, and that what actually happened. His death became my worst memory. And I stood there beside his deathbed, shaking him to wake up. Uncle, please, you cannot die now. 2 more years until I graduate." Yet he stood there, lifeless. My ears were numb, and my chest felt heavy, and it was heart aching. It was striking, sad, it was sorrowful. And that's when I realized my uncle, my friend, my other piece, he's dead. And his doctor eventually called out his name. February 20th, 2023, at 10 p.m. The doctors pronounced his death. And again, my heart fell below my knees and my brain was numb. He's dead. I realized it's all true. He is dead. My uncle, my friend is dead. And that changed me. It made me some depressed person. I was this happy person, this always smiling person. And then I changed completely. I was trying my best to forget, to move on, but his memory, his death kept annoying me every single day. I could not move on. And that's when I realized I need to move on. How can I move on? How can I change? How can I go back to my old self? I need to go back. And that's when I realized if I want to change, I will need to know more about my heart. In fact, I found that there's a huge connection between our heart and mind. We feel emotions in our heart, but all of our emotions are interpreted by our brain. Wow, it was all fascinating. And then I realized that Rene Descartes, along with other scientists, found that our heart is not just a pump. For centuries, the heart was seen just as a mere pump. It was pumping blood endlessly to our system. It was nothing just more than a pump. But turns out, the heart is not just a mere pump. It feels emotions. In fact, in 1988, Claire Sylvia underwent a heart surgery. And this heart surgery changed her a lot. In fact, this heart surgery, after she underwent this heart surgery, she changed. And how did she change? And she started becoming ruthless. She started becoming like a guy. She started acting more confidently. And later on, even her friends started saying, Claire, why are you walking this way? She started walking like a man. And that was very different. In fact, within 5 months of her surgery, Claire Sylvia had a dream. And in this dream, she dreamt of a man. He was a young man. She hugged him. And he said his name was Tom Larison. And Tom Larison, after he hugged her, she inhaled him into her. She inhaled him as if she took him in. After about some years, Claire Sylvia began feeling the change more and more. And then she started wondering, who's my donor? In fact, after searching, Claire Sylvia found that her donor is the one and only Tom Larison that she saw in the dream. In fact, he was also the same person with the same properties and the same personality that she was changing into. The same ruthless, confident guy, and even food cravings. Claire Sylvia was a former ballet dancer, and she had very strict diet routines, which did not allow her to eat any junk food. But after the heart transplant, she started eating junk food, which she later found out that even Tom Larison loved junk food and even beer, which she also had the same cravings for, which was fascinating. In fact, after that, I started learning more about the heart, and I found out that the heart was also experiencing more emotions, and it had so much more than what I didn't only know about Claire Sylvia. In fact, I found that the heart had this syndrome, which is called the broken heart syndrome. And this syndrome, it happens due to stressful situations like grief, the same thing I was experiencing. And in fact, I found that in 1988, Dr. Hikaru Sato, he was a Japanese doctor who found this syndrome, the broken heart syndrome. And this syndrome, it makes you experience pain similar to that of heartbreak, or in medical terms, we call it a heart attack. And what happens is that your brain signals your body to release stress hormones when you're stressed. And that means that your body releases cortisol, which is a stress hormone. And the stress hormone, it actually makes your heart arteries smaller and narrower, which makes it very hard for the heart to pump blood, which what makes you experience this heart attack syndrome. Wow, this was exactly what I was experiencing. Okay, we're getting more hints now. I need to feel less stressful about this situation. I need to face what I have been through in order to decrease the stress hormone. Oh, to be honest, I found that the interconnectedness between our heart and mind in their fragility and capacity for love, grief, and joy, and how we think is at the center of our existence. Our past experiences, what we've been through, and how we react all shapes us as people. It all shapes us as humans. And in fact, I found that the heart is part of the brain, and they're all one. Without feeling the heartbreak, you cannot go through love again. Without a foggy brain, you cannot clear your mind again. It's all like a cycle. It's all inescapable experiences that we have to go through in order to shape us as people, in order to make us unique, different. It's what makes us as humans. And what's most important is that us humans, we have to heal, we have to face what we've been through, we have to face our problems, our grief, everything that is hard, we have to face it in order to heal our wounds and become better people, in order to become the existent, unique people. That's us as humans. Later on, to be honest, it all made sense to me. After all of these realizations, it all made sense. It all clicked into my mind. Yes, it is it is what I'm facing. It is what I'm experiencing, that I'm running away from my pain again and again and again. And I started facing more of the grief and pain I've been trying to run away from. To be honest, I still remember my uncle. I still miss him. I still remember him every single day. Everything reminded me of him. His smile, his smell, his laugh. And what I miss the most is his warm hugs. I miss him so much. Yet, I was able to heal myself. I did not forget him. I was never over him. But I was able to complete my life and heal. I want him to be proud of me, to be proud of the person of whom I became. I love you, Uncle, and I miss you. And I really hope you're looking at me from above. I hope you're proud of me. I'm a senior now, and I'll be moving on, and I'll remember you every single day. Thank you.